Is Path of Exile 2 worth it for a casual player? How long does the game take? Entry barrier, complexity. Can I even enjoy it if I only have 1 hour gaming time per day, 5 hours per week? Is this something for you? Dave from the Steel Mill with 12 children. Let's begin with game length first. I've talked to a lot of people who have been at the event already and made it actually to Act 3. In their presentation, they've been saying 25 hours for the first 3 acts. That would be level 1 to 45. Now that 25 hours is assuming you're new to ARPGs, you're new to Path of Exile, you don't know any of the mechanics. 25 hours might be a good representation for that. That being said, a lot of the ARPG veterans at the events had like 8 hours to play the game and already made it to Act 3. So if you're rather an experienced player, you might be able to get in 10, 15, tops 20 hours through the first 3 acts. That's not it though. There's also Act 4, 5, and 6, which are right now not in the game, that will carry you to level 60. In order to get to level 60 now, you need to play through Act 1, 2, and 3 again, in leveled, in a harder difficulty. Now obviously you know what you have been doing in the first run through, and you're going to be better on your second half. So you add another, let's say you took 15 hours, 5 to 10 hours on top. That means from getting 1 to 60 can be anything from 20 to 30 to 40 hours, which is quite a time investment already. Consider though that your character is functioning, your build is working at that point. It's not like that at level 60 your build comes online. No, your build is already doing good while you play through the campaign. Your things are working together. You got the support gems. You might not have all the unique items, but your character is already doing what it is supposed to do. Then you enter the endgame and you're searching for pinnacle bosses. And don't worry, you cannot screw it up. If you die, one of these map nodes will not be passable anymore, and you gotta find another way around. Let's assume you start and the first 4 map nodes out of the main hub, you die. And it's over. You can't move anywhere anymore. There's a reset button. You can just reset the whole thing and start essentially your mapping progress from 0. So if you ever get stuck, no worries, you can begin again. Otherwise, you'll just have to get creative to find a way around to beat your pinnacle bosses. That being said, as someone who has played Path of Exile 1, even the journey from 1 to the mapping stage is already a great game experience with all the classes. I'll play it as a witch, then probably as a merc again, swap to a sword, try a melee character, and go with all these different characters until the mapping stage, and then choose the one I like the most to experience the mapping stage. Which means even if you're not interested in that endless time grind, time sink to put in, you're still good off and can have quite some fun already just with the base campaign. Now, what about the barrier of entry, the complexity? Do I even understand what's going on if I jump in for an hour, jump off, jump in for an hour? Do I need the PhD in POE once again? The game won't magically stop being complex, but getting into it is vastly easier. Skill tree, still big, but for gold, you can refund every single node, and it's not super expensive. Which means you start the game, you want to play fire, you enter fire in the search bar or minions, and then you just click the according nodes in the passive tree that help you with that. And if you made a wrong decision or want to try out something different, refund that whole thing at a city vendor and then just do it again. Your choices still matter, only that you have even more options now. And when it comes down to skill gems and finding equipment, for me personally, it has gotten more amazing and more fun to find new stuff. I love the skill system in Path of Exile 1, with the gloves needing 4 blue lings, so I can use my specters with their respective support gems. But on the other hand, it always forced me to find the right gloves, or I would have to keep my old ones until I finally find the next perfect 4-ling one. Otherwise, every new piece of equipment was kind of useless. Yes, I know there was crafting to alter some stuff, still, as the casual player, it seemed kind of stupid sometimes and really turned me off. Now in Path of Exile 2, you can essentially use any piece of equipment you find, and for your skills, you have your very own skill menu. You find a skill gem, you engrave, and then you put that skill in your skill bar, where you can put a certain amount of skills with their support gems. And the interesting part here is, you can only use one support gem once in your whole thingy. So let's say you have a support gem for bonus projectiles, melee splash, whatever there is to come. Then you can use one melee splash in your 8 skills. But you can't use 2 of them on 2 different skills, which is very interesting and has you get more creative with all the different support gems. And that menu, you can change at any point. You're not like forced to stick with certain skills because of your equipment. The only thing you have to look out for, that certain skills have a stat requirement, like you need to have at least 60 strength, 130 dex to use this one. But that's what your passive skill tree is there for. They have these stat nodes that you can click and then select which stat you want from them. And well, you can always go to the refund vendor and change the stat you choose. You had intelligence, but you need strength. Just flip it over. And as you progress through the game, you will stumble upon ascendancies, these specializations of your character. For example, the witch can turn into an infernalist or a blood mage, which are essentially bonus powers on top of your powers, where you turn your mana into infernal mana and have your minions and things burn everything, turn yourself into a demon, be a blood-sucking vampire that gets more damage the more life you have. The monk can be an invoker or an acolyte of Shayula, if that is pronounced correctly, which dabbles in darkness and chaos magic as far as I understand. These choices are permanent. You can swap every skill, but you don't seem to be right now able to reset ascendancies, which means that is a choice. You might have to research a bit if you're interested in these skills. Do I want to be an infernalist? Do I want to be a bloodsucker instead? And then roll with that into the end game. Considering though that at some point, if you're experienced enough, you can blast from 1 to 60 in probably 10, 15, maximum 20 hours. You'll be able to play the same character again and then choose a different ascendancy. Also, this is not set in stone yet. I've heard in interviews Jonathan Rogers saying it's up for debate. They're still internally struggling, talking about that there should maybe be an ascendancy reset, which I would like because I don't want to have to make a new character just to try out the other ascendancy. That's just an information to take with you right now as you want to maybe try both of them or even the third one that is to come for every character. We quickly glance over item, but there's also their crafting system. And it's a little bit dumbed down for Path of Exile 2, but will still be expanded furthermore. Their main goal was not to make it simpler, but to make it more accessible and easier to understand. Listen to a quick description of Jonathan.
One of the things you're going to want to do as you play through the campaign is upgrade the items you find, and you can do that with currency items. An Orb of Transmutation will allow you to upgrade a normal item to a magic item with 1 mod. You can then apply an Orb of Augmentation to add a 2nd mod, then use a Regal Orb to add a 3rd mod, and upgrade it to a rare. Finally, you can use some Exalted Orbs to add more mods to your rare to a total of 6 mods.
Now what do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Path of Exile 2 something for you? Are you Dave from the Steel Mill, Francis, the Lobster Fisher, and get limited gaming time at your hands and still want to try out the game? I can highly recommend it. I put my hands on it myself and it was really easy to get into. If you now want a witch overview on what she has to offer for you and why you should be playing minions, enjoy. Have a fantastic day.